Vishnu Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavatjai Namo Namaha. Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. बोलो श्री श्री राधा गोलोकानंद की जय. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते बीरकृष्ण गोस्वामी इति नामिने. नमो हंस निकासाय प्रभुपाद प्रियाय ते शूद्र शुद्ध निष्ठाभ्य तस्य वाक्यनुवादिने. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देव्ये गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So today is the disappearance day of Sri Ramanujacharya. It's 887th disappearance day. So I'll just go and talk about part of his life, what he did, what is his philosophy, and then we'll read a few pages from this book which describes his Antya Leela. That he's basically the 2 pages on the instructions he gave to his disciples and how he left the planet, right? So just a high-level view, a bird's-eye view of Ramanujacharya and his work, and then we'll go into little bit more details. So Ramanujacharya was born in 1817 and left the planet in 1137. So lived on the planet for about 120 years. And he made tremendous advances and brought back some of the true meanings of the scriptures back into that time's Hindu fold. Right? For example, there were Smarta Brahmins who were insisting that everything has to be done as per the birth. So if you are born Brahmin, you are Brahmin. If you are born in a particular family, you become that. But nobody else can become Brahmin just because of the virtues, because of the qualities that they would show that are described in Bhagavad Gita or other scriptures. So those were not accepted. So Ramanujacharya was the first one who actually took up this movement and even started working, started intermingling with even the Chandalas and other classes that were then considered lower classes. And he actually brought them back into the primary fold. And he also established, he went around today's Bharata, and he established temples there. He established temples where your caste would never be asked. Right. So that is one of the biggest contribution of Ramanujacharya on the Sri Sampradaya, from Sri Sampradaya. he was a proponent of Vishishta Advaita philosophy, right? So multiple philosophies are there. We'll just touch upon them. We have half an hour. But he was the proponent of the Vishishta Advaita philosophy from Sri Sampradaya. And he was influenced in his childhood by some of the Bhakta poets, the Bhakta Kavi. Like, we have, our different bhajanas that we sing from many of our acharyas in our succession. Similarly, there are alvars in South India, and he was very highly influenced by them. And I think we can see how he accepted the philosophy from those Bhakta poets. His primary philosophy of Vishishta Advaita talks about Jiva and Jagata, three entities, the Ishvara, the Jiva and Jagata. And the Jiva and Jagata are dependent on Ishvara. So there is a supreme reality called Ishvara, God himself. And then there is Jiva and Jagata, the Jada and Chetana, that is the manifested universe and the living entities. And the living entities and the material universe, they both always depend on Ishvara. That's the very fundamental of his philosophy. Right? He also gave pramana, right? So it's not just you walk away, or you read the scripture and walk away making your statement. You have to support it with the scriptures, and he gave pramanas, right? So to define the pramanas, Shankaracharya had different pramanas. He set up 3 specific pramanas: Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. That is the Vedas, the inference drawing, and then the Pratyaksha, what you see it actually, right? Because you cannot see everything, so there are other 2 available there as well. Right? Jivas, from his philosophy, the Jivas have only 2 categories: the Baddha Jiva and the Mukta Jiva. The Baddha Jivas are the ones who are bonded, and they can become Mukta Jiva, Nitya Mukta Jiva, by simply surrendering to Krishna in bhakti. That is his fundamentals of his philosophy. Very similar to what we have in our sampradaya. And then the manifestation of God himself, right? So the God himself is a Parabrahma as per him. And then he manifests in different ways. So there are 5 different types of manifestation. One is the original form called Parabrahma. There are Chaturvyuha that we have seen in our Bhagavata Purana is the Vyuha Avatara. Then there is a Vibhava, that are different actual avataras. So the Chaturvyuha is in the original form. The Vibhava are the avataras. And then the Archa, the deities that we worship. And then the Antaryami form, which is residing in each and every living entity as an Antaryami, which is the expansion as a Paramatma. He wrote a couple of books. To be called an Acharya, there has to be an explanation given on Vedanta Sutra based on your philosophy. So he's called Acharya, Ramanujacharya, because he wrote he gave discourses and he wrote a book on Vedanta, right? Right, and then that's called Sri Bhasya, which is very popular in South. Like we have our Baldev Vidya Bhushan's Vedanta Sutra. He also wrote quite a few other books and poetries, etc., and the prayers, and also he wrote the book on Nitya Grantha. That is basically is talking about all the rituals that one has to perform in the day-to-day life, including all the 16 sanskaras. It's also, he set up about 74 centers of Vaishnavism in India, made 700 sannyasis and about 12,000 brahmacharis. So that is what he initiated this movement. So that is the starting of Ramanujacharya. It's just an overview of his life. I will go into some of the teachings of Ramanujacharya, but we'll take some reference from the scriptures first. So the very first thing is who was Ramanujacharya and why he is considered such an exalted saint, right? Such an exalted personality. And it is because it is written in scriptures. His name appears in the scriptures in Padma Purana. We have 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads. One of the 18 Puranas is Padma Purana. And his name appears there, Sampradaya Vihinaye मंत्रस्ते निष्फला मतः अतः कलौ भविष्यन्ति चत्वार sampradaya. So without a mantra that comes outside of sampradaya is nishphala. It does not give any phala. That is, it's basically kind of a waste of time chanting that mantra unless you receive it from Guru Parampara. It says Ataha Kalo Bhavishyanti, because therefore in Kali Yuga, in the Bhavishya, in Kali Yuga, in the future in Kali Yuga, Chatvara Sampradayinaha, 4 sampradayas will be there in the Bhavishya, in Kali Yuga. And what are those sampradayas? They're saying, Padma Purana says, Shri Sampradaya Brahma, Shri Brahma Rudra Shanaka, Vaishnava Kshiti Pavanaha. There are 4 sampradayas that would be the forefront of the Vaishnava sampradayas. There are only 4 sampradayas. Chatvaraste Kalo Bhave Yatkale Purushottama. So all this, following these 4 sampradayas, the people of Kali Yuga will worship Purushottama. Ramanujam Shri Svikare. Ramanujacharya was accepted by Lakshmi Devi. Madhvacharyam Chaturmukhaha. So Brahma accepted Madhvacharya. So out of 4 sampradayas, Shri Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya and Sanaka Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, what we call. Ramanujacharya was accepted by Lakshmi Devi. Madhvacharya by Chaturmukha. Brahma Sampradaya was accepted by Brahma as his disciple. Shri Vishnu Swaminam Rudro. Vishnu Swami in Rudra Sampradaya. And Nimbarkacharya Chatursanaha. So that is in the Kumara Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami. So these are 4 major Swami, the leaders of these 4 sampradayas. Padma Purana says for the Vaishnavas in the Kali Yuga, these are the only 4 sampradayas that one should be following. And one should be following those sampradayas in the Vaishnava Parampara, because any mantra that is received outside of that doesn't give any results. So follow the sampradaya, accept the Guru, accept the mantra from the Guru and the Parampara, and the mantra will give you the results. And then the goal of the life, that is to go back to Godhead is materialized. So there are 4 sampradayas we talked about. There are each of those gurus propagated a particular philosophy about the nature of Brahma, Parabrahma, Jiva, etc. So from Vaishnava perspective, Sri Sampradaya talked about Vishishta Advaita. So there are fundamentally Shankaracharya propagated the Advaita philosophy. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma. You are Brahma, I am Brahma. You are no different than I am you, you are me, and we all are God. So that is Shankaracharya's philosophy. Compared to that, we have Shuddha Advaita coming from Rudra Sampradaya of Vishnu Swami, which is Shuddha Advaita, but the Advaita is interpreted a little differently. It doesn't say that we are God. That's not what Vishnu Swami said. Against Shuddha Advaita, we have a Vishishta, on the other spectrum, we have a Vishishta Dvaita. So it's basically a Dvaita Sampradaya, that is Madhvacharya, that is the disciplic succession that we follow. It's Shuddha Dvaita, the eternal distinction between the Jiva and the Paramatma, the God himself. The Kumara Sampradaya talk of the Dvaita Advaita under Nimbarkacharya, and Ramanujacharya talked about the Vishishta Advaita. So fundamentally there are 3 realities, 3 facets of the truth they are talking about. Either everything is one from Parabrahma, in the form of a Parabrahma, right? Or it is totally forever different. Or Vishishta Advaita says, so we say that Jiva is permanently distinct from Krishna himself, right? From the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So from Brahma and Jiva are 2 distinct entities, eternal Vishishta Advaita says there is something special about they are non-different in certain way, but there are certain aspects that are different. Right? So these are the four different philosophical thoughts that were propagated, and then came Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu came 400 years ago. And Mahaprabhu said that what they're saying is not wrong. They're all saying the same facets of the truth. But the reality is Achintya Bheda Abheda. He really combined all these four, saying that all four are the possibilities, but the reality of the truth is there is Achintya Bheda Abheda, and there is no limitation on the Supreme. Because if there is the limitation on the Supreme, then the limiting force is supposed to be the Supreme. So there is no limitation there. So, who were the parents of Ramanujacharya? So he was born to in a Brahmin family in South, in Sri Perambaduru. Keshavacharya and Kantimati were his parents. And when he was born, he was recognized as an incarnation of Anantashesha. That is Lakshmana himself, who is Anuja, younger brother of Rama, Anuja of Rama. And so he was named as Ramanuja. Right? So that's, and then he's just like Balaramji, right? Lakshmana is same as Shankarshana, Balaramji, right? Same as Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Whenever they incarnate to take care of the Baddha Jivatmas, right? By spreading the knowledge. That is exactly we can see he did in his life. Right? So we talked about the Smarta Brahmana philosophies. So the Brahmins themselves are in two different sects, right? Brahmins, there are two types of Brahmins. Right? There are Brahmins who follow pure Vedas only, the four Vedas, Upanishads, and Vedanta Sutras. And then there are Brahmins who will follow Smarta tradition. And what is the difference? The difference is the Vedas are called Shruti, Puranas are called Smriti. Regular Brahmins will follow Shruti, so they will be following the Vedas. Smarta Brahmins follow the Smriti. That's how they are called Smarta Brahmins. They are primarily they are following the Smriti, that is the 18 Puranas. They are following different parts of the Puranas depending on what their worshipable deity is. Right, and so the Brahmins who follow the Vedas, they don't distinguish. They say, irrespective of your birth, whoever is qualified and whoever is willing to learn Vedas will be taught Vedas. So there were travelers from China that came into that time's Bharata about 1500 2000 years ago. They visited Nalanda University. Right? It's one of the biggest universities. They visited Takshashila universities. They visited Jagannath Puri. They visited different universities and gurukulams and places of worship in Kashmir and other places. And their scrolls, what they wrote, what they wrote in their journey, what they observed, what they saw, is still there in the Chinese imperial scrolls in China. It's still there. It still exists, and people have verified it. And they are saying that in these universities, 70%, everyone was learning Veda. And 70% of the students were what are classified today as Dalitas or untouchables, or Shudras, etc. Right? So 70% of the students who were learning Vedas in these universities that were established, well established for thousands of years, were falling in that category. So that is what Ramanujacharya brought back into the Sanatana Dharma by really pushing back on Smarta Brahmana traditions. Right? So that was his one of the biggest contribution to the society as a whole, where nobody. He's the first Acharya who started talking about that it's not by birth, it is by the qualities you show, right? And we follow the same thing, right? We follow that no matter where one is born, even a dog eater can become in the same life, can become the Shuddha Vaishnava and Nitya Mukta Atma. It's just a matter of the level of surrender, right? He also debunked the Advaita Vada of Shankaracharya as well, because that teaching was very prevalent in the south at that point in time. Right? So he accepted a Shudra as a guru, Kanchipuram, from his village. And later on he went to the Gurukulam of Yadavacharya, who was impersonalist. Right? He was the follower of Advaita Vedanta, primarily follower of Shankaracharya. Now what does Shankaracharya say? Shankaracharya says that the Brahma's true nature is Nirguna and Nirakara. There is no Akara and no Gunas in the Brahma. However, the whole universe, material universe, the jivas, everything come out of that Brahma, which is Nirakara and Nirguna. So the gunas came out of nothing, the akaras came out of nothing. We have the shape, and that shape came out of nothing, is what Shankaracharya says. So Shankaracharya didn't say that. It's an inference of his philosophy. Now, why that is wrong? Because the Sankhya Shastra says that something cannot come out of nothing. It has to be there for it to come out. So how did Shankaracharya explain that something has to be there? He said that, well, the Brahma is Nirguna Nirakara. However, there is Maya. And Maya is the one that is cause of the akaras and gunas and everything. Where did Maya come from? That he bypasses that question. And he says that Maya is anirvachaniya, that you cannot describe it, you cannot explain it. It's Maya. So I'm not going to tell you what is Maya, but Maya is the reason for all these things. And Maya is something that is not, that we are not what we seem to be. We are that Brahma only. One day we will realize, the day we realize, we become God. So that's the philosophy. That is the reason. I think there was another talk I had given on Shankaracharya, and a little more explanations. So that was the philosophy that Ramanujacharya was fighting against. And it is a brilliant philosophy because it brought back everyone from Buddhism back to, or Sanatana, then back to the Vedic religions. Except that it has this, the candy, sweet candy, that one day I can become the God. And so it's very difficult to get people out of that thinking. And that's the daunting task that these four acharyas have done, including Ramanujacharya. So how does our Sampradaya or the rest of the Vaishnava Sampradayas explain the Nirakara and Nirguna? Right, the two words, Nirakara means there is no akara, there is no shape. And Nirguna, literal translation means there is no gunas. And that is the nature of the Brahma that is given. That is given in Vedas. It is said very clearly. So how it is explained? Right? So the explanation of the Nirakara and Nirguna is given as Nirgataha akaraha iti nirakaraha. Nirgataha gunaha iti nirguna. The one from which all the akaras emanate is Nirakara. The akara is already in there, in Sushupta form, and they emanate from there, is Nirakara. That is how the Brahma is described as Nirakara in our script, in Vedas. But what it means is that the akaras are already there and they come out of it. And that is how the universe manifests with the akaras. All the jiva souls are under the Trigunic Prakriti. That Prakriti comes out of the same Brahma, and that is also Nirgata Gunaha. The Guna also come out of it. Because the Gunas are there in Sushupta. They are not manifested, but they are already there. From there it comes out. So it basically the philosophy that is supposed to be the way it is supposed to. And it has been not only stated by these acharyas, but when Mahaprabhu came himself, he also said the same thing, that all these things existed in Parabrahma. It's not that it was Nirakara, it was always there is a shape. There is, Krishna is in his original shape. And original gunas come out of Krishna. So all the gunas and powers. Why it is important to make this distinction? Why the gunas and the shapes are important? Because when you have Nirguna Brahma, the fundamental teaching that Ramanujacharya brought up first, and then it is very much in line with what we have also that we should follow with full confidence that it is not only all the acharyas have propagated this here. There is a clear lineage that this is what Vedas describe, this is how it was understood. From there, lot of people started doing the fire sacrifices just for the meat eating. So Krishna came as Buddha, took them away from the Vedic religion, saying you don't need to do all these fire sacrifices because in the end there is nothing. Nirvishesha Shunyavad, there is nothing. One day you will cease to exist. And the day you attain Nirvana, you become Buddha. And once your desires stop completely, what to do good or bad, all the desires stop. You cease to exist. The very existence is because of the desires in the world. So from there, Shankaracharya came and he brought these people back to Vedas because Vedas are the original knowledge. Krishna created Vedas before creating the material universe and placing the souls in the material universe. So the Vedas never existed. And Brahma came out of this Mahavikampa. And then Brahma meditated for 1,000 years. And then he was inspired. That inspiration, where it comes from, right? The inspiration comes from Brahma, who has a bhava, who has this guna. Otherwise, that inspiration would not come because one without bhava and guna will say, I don't care. I exist, that's it. Right? And so, when Brahma was inspired to create this universe, the knowledge already existed. That knowledge manifested in the heart of Brahma. It's not like Krishna or Vishnu appeared in front of Brahma and started teaching him like Srila Gurudev teaches us. It never happened. Brahma meditated and the knowledge manifested in his heart because the knowledge already existed before Brahma. Right? And so that knowledge cannot be wrong because it is coming straight from Krishna. It's the eternal knowledge. Krishna has provided that knowledge in the form of Chaturvedas. It cannot be wrong. And so it was important to re-establish those Vedas and bring people back. Whatever was necessary was done by Shankaracharya. And then it was left to these 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas to bring people back to the true meaning of the Vedas, the way it is supposed to be. And that is, they have done a fabulous job knowing how quickly all the Vaishnava Sampradayas are spreading. So that is with the Nirguna Brahma. Now, when this information is provided, Acharya talked about the Prasthana Trayi also. To be called an Acharya, you have to talk about the Upanishad, Gita, and Brahma Sutras. And so he wrote bhashyas on all 3 of them. For him, the Brahma is Parinami and Parivartanshila. So it changes as well as it manifests. The Brahma manifests. And that is where his Vishishta Advaita comes because Jada and Chetana, that is the living entity and the material universe, are just 2 aspects of Parabrahma. They are not eternally distinct as such. They are part of Parabrahma. Parabrahma manifests as these 2. And that is where the Vishishta Advaita comes. We believe that in our Sampradaya, Madhvacharya said it is Dvaita. It's eternally different, distinct. The Jiva is eternally distinct. It is not just a manifestation of the Parabrahma. It is distinct, eternal, forever they have been there. That's the fundamental difference between Dvaita and Advaita. Right, so and then a quick touch point on there are 5 ways, 5 manifestations of Parabrahma. The Parabrahma himself is the Krishna in his original form. Right, that is the original manifestation of Parabrahma because it's in original form, with the form and with the goodness. And then there is another manifestation which is called Vyuha manifestation, which is Chaturvyuha. That is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And this is again coming from Ramanujacharya's teachings. He says the Vasudeva is he's responsible for manifestation and the sustenance of the Prakriti. Right? He inspires, right? Vasudeva. Right? There's a Parabrahma sitting with each one of the souls. And then there is a Vyuha Avtaras, which are part of that is Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. 4. Sankarsana is Baladeva, is the Shakti. Right? The strength of the samsara comes from him. Pradyumna gives Aishwarya, Viratva. Pradyumna is also name of son of Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna has unlimited Aishwarya. Pradyumna also is responsible for Aishwarya, Viratva, Ananda, the strength, the valor, the bliss. And Aniruddha, for he is a Vardayini Shakti, he has strength to give the blessings. He is the blessing. And the Vibhava, so there are two other. So this is a Vyuha, the Parabrahma and Vyuha. There are two ways the Parabrahma manifests. Vibhava is the third way. Bhava is to be there. Existence is a bhava. Right? Vaibhava is the swarupa of a Bhagwan. Right? Everywhere we see around is a vibhava of Bhagwan as well. Right? Whether it's a sound that we speak, or if a bird is chirping, right? Or if the wind is blowing. Everything we see in the material manifestation, everything we hear from Krishna in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is vibhava. Then there is an incarnation as an antaryami, which is with the jiva rupa. It is with stays as a sakshi bhava with the jiva rupa. That's antaryami, which is basically the Paramatma Swarupa. Bhagwana Ishvara Paramatma. So Bhagwana Swayam, Ishwar is a controller of everything. Paramatma stays with jiva. And then the Archa Avatara, our deities, right? Our Archa Avatar is our deities. Whenever a devotee of the Lord will tell him that this is the form I wish to work with you, please come and stay here, be here. He will come, he will take incarnation. These are individual Archa Avataras. And then he substantiated all these things with the Pramanas. So I think we may not get time to read about these few instructions, but we'll see. 3 Pramanas, right, that Ramanujacharya said are sufficient. There are only 3 Pramanas, that is your Pratyaksha, Anuman and Shabda. So Shabda is the words of Vedas. You have to accept them as they are. One should accept them as they are, because if they feel like something is wrong, then it's just the wrong interpretation. But Vedas are there. Their words are accurate. It's just that the time has not come to re-establish the true meaning of those words, and another Acharya will come a few hundred years ago. That will re-establish those. Whatever are the missing pieces will be re-established. But that knowledge is not going anywhere. Just by burning Nalanda for 6 months, the knowledge doesn't go anywhere. It's there. So that is the Shabda. Pratyaksha, you observe something, that is a proof. That's proof enough. It's in Vedas, it is proof enough. It is Shabda, it is proof enough. If both of them are not possible, but still you observe things, there is something behind those things, then Anuman. Anuman is the logic of deduction, or the inference that you would draw from what you see. And that is also a good pramana. Shankaracharya had few other pramanas like abhava, that things you don't see, then it is good enough pramana that doesn't exist, which is not the case. Maybe because of some other reason that you don't see. You take a stick and you put it in water, it looks bent, but that bend is not there, right? So it's not necessary that you don't see something, you see something. It's guaranteed. Right? Arthapatti, that just put a hypothesis like modern science does, right? Put a hypothesis and declare that we know what is going on. And that's where the modern science goes through the cycles of proposals and disposals. Oh, it is good. No, it's bad. It's good. Bad. Take this. Oh, that causes autism. Take this. Oh, that causes cancer. It happens because they simply propose and dispose. And that's not a pramana. So those are the three pramanas that Ramanujacharya used for his teachings. Very quickly, we'll look at first the final instructions because that's more important than his Tirobhava. So when the time came, his disciples were lamenting loudly, and so he gave the final instructions. It says, on hearing their cries, Ramanujacharya came out of trance and said to his disciples, "Dear children, why do you cry out in lamentation like an uneducated man? Do you think this body can endure forever? Am I not fixed in your heart for all time? Therefore give up this useless wailing and understand the will of the Lord." To this his disciples all replied, "O Master, as always your instructions are perfect. Nonetheless, it is impossible for us to bear the pain of separation which must surely overwhelm us if you leave us now. Out of pity for your children, we beg you to remain with us for some time more." It's very similar to what all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada were telling him. You can see it. In response to this request, Ramanujacharya agreed to stay with them for 3 more days. He ordered that all his disciples should come there, and when they were assembled, he delivered his final instructions. It's very important instructions, and I can see Srila Prabhupada has made sure that we are following all these instructions. Worship all Vaishnavas as you worship your Guru, he told them. Have faith in previous acharyas and never be controlled by the senses. Never be satisfied simply by worldly knowledge. Study the scriptures which describe the glories of the Supreme Lord. Transcendental knowledge can overcome the pushings of the mind and senses. Be indifferent to the promptings of the mind. Always relish the chanting of the holy name and the qualities of the Lord. The best way to serve the Lord is rendering service to his devotees. Never follow the ways of Vaishnavas for material gain. Always endeavor for purity. Every day spend some time in contemplating the greatness of the spiritual master. And every day study the teachings of the Vaishnava acharyas. Always associate with those who are surrendered to the Lord. Avoid those who teach paths other than the devotional service and those interested in sensual pleasures. One who sees the deity as a stone, the Guru as an ordinary man, and the devotees in terms of caste or bodily designations, Charanamrita as ordinary water, the holy name of the Lord as a mundane sound vibration, or the Supreme Lord as one of the demigods, is certainly destined for hellish life. When Yatiraja had finished speaking, the disciples questioned him further, asking how they should conduct themselves while in the world. Again, Ramanujacharya instructed them, one who has surrendered to Lord Narayana should not be concerned about his future, depending always on the Lord's mercy. All duties should be performed as acts of devotion to the Lord and never for material gain. Study the Sri Bhasya and teach it to others. This service is the most pleasing to the Lord. If this is not possible, then study the teachings of the other devotees and then instruct some disciples. If you are unable to do this, then go to a holy place and reside there, or go to Yadavadri and serve the Lord there. I think we should stop here. The deities are giving darshan. Thank you. No, thank you very much for. I'm not even qualified. Just it's all previous acharyas. They have put everything together. I was just reading through that. Thank you.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Asa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Yashamati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yashamati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yashamati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Parana Dana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Gopi Madana Manohara Kaliyadamana Vidana Kaliyadamana Ana Kaliyadamana Didana Kaliyadamana Manavidana Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasam Amala Harina Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Vipinan Borandara Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Subhasa Vipinam Borandara Vina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Subhasa Vipinam Borandara Navina Nagara Bara Vamsivadana Subhasa Vipin Andara Navana Dana Subhasa Brajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Jajana Palana Surakula Nasana Prajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Jajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakulaya Nanda Godana Kulaya Nanda Godana Rakulaya Nanda Dana Rakulaya Govinda Madhava Navanira Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanira Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanira Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanira Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Pala Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Muna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Nattabara 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 Bhakati Vinoda Shraya Bhakati Vinoda Shraya Bhakati Vinoda Shraya Bhakati Vinoda Shraya Yasomati Nandana Brajaparanagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yasomati Nandana Brajaparanagara Gokula Kana Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa. Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa. Madhava Navanira Taskara Govinda Madhava Vanira Taskara Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natapara Sri Radha Vallabha Navana Natapara Bhakati Vinodashraya Bhakati Vinodashraya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Srila Prabhupada ki jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Lord Krishna is beloved son of Yashoda, transcendental lover in the land of Braj, the delight of Gokula, known by the nickname Kana, the wealth of the lives of the gopis, the attractor of Cupid, and punisher of the serpent Kaliya. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes, Lord of the 12 forests of Braj, ever youthful, the best of lovers, player of the flute, an excellent dresser, protector of the inhabitants of Braj, destroyer of demoniac dynasties, keeper and tender of Nanda's cows, giver of pleasure to cows, lands, and spiritual senses, husband of the goddess of fortune, butter thief, and beautiful Nanda Maharaj, wanderer of the Yamuna riverbanks, thief of the garments of the gopis, enjoyer of the mellows of the rasa dance, very merciful, lover and beloved of Sri Radha, the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the only shelter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Chaito darpanam arjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pradipanam Pranamita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amrita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twayi Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishamay Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Vadanam Gadgadurudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Panastumam Adarshanam Marmahatakarotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastusa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction